Hello and welcome to the Weekend with Indiacharts, episode number 40. I'm Chavan, the host, and along with me, Rohit. Rohit, good morning. But if you look at Monday, what happened on Monday, nobody had expected. My first thing is, Rohit, for the first time since Feb 2020, your own momentum indicator has come into the sell mode on monthly charts. December month, quarterly first time closing negative. And this time again, with 1 day left for trading session, we might be looking at one more negative month. So what is your view now?
Given that we've been trying to say that this is a bottom and it's going to bounce, all the negatives that you're throwing at me are observations that we are underplaying because the Elliott wave structure doesn't add up to it. So a quarterly negative close can matter and can't matter also. Most corrections during 2004 to 2008 ended in one quarter. One quarter was usually sufficient. There was only 1-2 quarter correction. That was 2004 when there were elections and they were also center elections. For 6 months into that center election, you had a deeper correction that lasted for 2 quarters. Otherwise, all the ones subsequent to that were all 1 quarter and done. So that is one thing to keep in mind. It doesn't necessarily mean that will happen. Second is, if you are in a bull market, the monthly momentum indicator will give you whipsawing false signals, which is just proven by history. Again, between 2002 and 8 or between 1980s all the way till 1992, many buy-sell signals on the monthly would have failed. They would have worked better on weekly because that is a subset of the larger time frame. So each weekly cycle works fine, but the monthly cycles can actually give you false signals, and so therefore you would be better off using the 20-month average as your mean support. So that's my technical answer to your question. That said, for very, very short term, 1 day ahead of the budget, don't be surprised just because US market is up. The bounce back in the last 2 days, either in banking, and I was just checking auto sector when we were talking before the show, both have so far done only 3 waves up. Okay, and they closed down on Friday. So that means the bounce was corrective, which leaves open room for a retest of the support at the lower end. And because it's our own event, 1 day before the event, maybe nobody would really buy into the market aggressively, which means you might not get the rub off of the global rally and you could actually retest. That's something to be open to. I'm not saying it can't happen. It's possible we just run away. But I'm just saying I'll have to keep an open mind because of the event. Now that it's domestic, it's not the US Fed, right? It's our own event. The market may just pull off unexpectedly and then wait for the budget announcements on Tuesday. That's just about my very, very short-term thought on what the market is doing. Other than that, I think apart from the zigzagging movement that you get ahead of the budget, if you ask me, I'll bet on a post-budget rally simply because market has fallen too much. US markets have already written about extreme sentiment yesterday. So both Indian, US markets, various markets around the world are in bouncing back from extreme negative sentiment. And so that first thing to create odds for a positive outcome. And second is our own budget will be the one that will set the course for next year's growth trajectory. So unless something is terribly wrong in the budget and they don't spend for growth and there's no infra spending, which appears very weird and unlikely unless they really want to crash the market themselves. It's the same thing like with the Fed. Now, if the Fed wants to crash, they'll raise rates right away, like some people were trying to predict in social media. अभी कर देगा गया कुछ नहीं. उसने ये भी बोल दिया कि आगे भी हम लोग ने बात भी नहीं किया. He's saying I've not even spoken about raising rates. We have not even spoken about how we will raise rates and what are going to be the parameters. We have had no discussion on this subject. That was his statement. I was really surprised. I never listened to FOMC meetings. This is the first time I was not getting sleep, so I came back and I listened to that entire conversation of the FOMC meet. And he just backed off from everything, saying, yes, we will do this. Yes, we will do that. Environment is perfect to do it. But frankly, we haven't even discussed what to do, how to do, and when to do. That was so funny. And people are reading into that as more hawkish. I don't know which part is hawkish. The I will do something or that we have not even thought about it. So it's like a 50-50 answer. It's like hawkish and dovish at the same time. So I don't know what that we haven't thought about means. Does it mean we will think? I don't know what it means. It means nothing to me actually. So interpretation is usually based on what the market does. Agar Friday ko market gir gaya, he was too hawkish. Agar Friday ko market बढ़ गया, तो he was too dovish. But frankly, he didn't say anything. So I put it only simply. Do you think the Fed wants to crash the US market? Fine, they'll raise 50 basis points every quarter. But if they don't want to do that, it's not intentional. Same way I come to Indian government. You think they intend to crash it 2 years ahead of the national election? I'm not sure it makes sense or it even helps the situation. So if they want to continue in the trajectory that they created last year, because they set a direction, they did additional spending, and we got 8 point whatever percent growth. If you want to continue to grow at 8 to 9%, which is what the IMF is projecting surprisingly for next year, then I think those plans, what they did last year, will continue, and they have room from the additional tax revenue to do more, which sort of gives me optimism that nothing negative will happen on the growth side. What more do you want? Extreme negative sentiment, a positive budget can only result in a post-budget rally. So that is my thought. Something has to go terribly wrong for it to not happen.
Yeah. Rohit, I agree with your viewpoint, but to put it across in a different way, now you told market is extremely oversold. I do agree. We might expect a good bounce from here. But that bounce, do you really feel that it is going to be an impulsive bounce? Because the fall was so bad and it looks like a 5-wave down. How do you expect this bounce to come back on a short term? The long term picture, again, I'll come to it. But on a short term, let's discuss on the short term.
Short term means what? Daily chart or hourly chart?
Yeah, daily.